Okay, so let's say that we wanted to find the equation of this line. Well, we've saw examples like this before in the previous video, so that's pretty easy. So find the equation of the line shown. Okay, so we can write this, we can shoot for the slope-intercept form, mx plus b, if we can identify the m and the b. So the b is pretty easy. So the y-intercept, by looking at the picture, we can see the y-intercept is right there. So that's the coordinate 0, 7. What about the slope? Well, let's see. We need two good points, right? So I'm going to use this one right here and that one right there. So that's going to be a rise of 1, 2, 3 and a run of 1. So that's 3 over 1, which is the rise over run. So I can put these two together and come up with the equation y equals 3 over 1 or 3 plus b, which is 7. And there is my answer to that question. Let's take a look at this one. Now when you look at this one, the problem is with this particular graph is the slope is, I think we could figure out the slope. Seems like I could use this point here and that point right there and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, rise over run. But the problem is right here. The y-intercept is not on a nice corner, right? So how do we find the equation of this line, right? Equation. And why? The problem is that the y-intercept is hard to tell. Okay, so we need another way in which we can find equations of lines, and this is called the point slope formula. Right, the point slope formula. The point slope formula says, as the name suggests, the ingredients for this, you need to know the slope and any one point. And the point slope formula says, let's call this M, any one point x1, y1. So here's what the point slope formula is. It is y minus y1 equals to m times x minus x1. Right? So y minus the y1 from the point equals m, which you know, x minus x1, the x1 from the point. So if we were to look at this one, this particular problem, let's see, we can find the slope, right? The slope would be this run, this rise. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So the slope here in the above this problem here, the slope is 3/4 rise over run. Now we have a point. We have what? We don't have the y-intercept, but we do have this point. That point right there is 1, negative 2. In fact, we have many points, right? You could use this point. That will be 5, 1. 5, 1. You could have used this point right here. That would be -3, -5. So all of those are potential points we can use, and you could use any one of them. It doesn't matter. So the point is, let's use 1, -2, right? So we'll do this using the point slope example. Find the equation of the line through the given point and slope. So what we'll do is we'll find the equation of this line using two of those points and the slope. So we know the slope. So we know the slope is 3/4 and the point is 1, -2. So according to the point slope formula, that would be y minus, so remember this is x1, y1. So here is the point slope formula. So this is m right here, right? Okay. So let's put these things into this formula. So it's y minus y1, so that's -2, equals m, which is 3/4 x minus x1, which is 1. Right there, you have your equation in point slope form. This is the equation in point slope form. Okay, if you want to write this in slope intercept form, then you would have to do the distribution and work it through. So let's go ahead and do that as well. So this is 3/4 x minus 3/4, and subtract a 2. So you get y equals 3/4 x. And so let's take this off to the side, do the math and bring it back in. So really what we have is 3/4 minus 2 over 1. We need an LCD. 4. So if I multiply that by 4, I got to multiply this by 4. That's -8. That's going to be -11/4. So there you go. So that is the equation in point slope form, slope intercept form. Equation in slope intercept form. All right. So just let's do another example of this, and what I'll do is I'll use the same line, but I'll use different points. So the slope will be 3/4 and the point I'll use will be 5, 1. Okay, so point B, part B, let's say the slope is 3/4 and the point is 5, 1. Just to show you that it doesn't matter, we should end up with the same equation. So again, I'm using the point slope formula. Y minus 1 equals 3/4 x minus 5. And so let's distribute. So that's 3/4 x minus 3/4 times 5, which is going to be 3/4 x minus 15/4. So remember, this is the point slope form. And now let's add 1. And so we get y equals 3/4 x. And let's take this off to the side, do the math, bring it back. So we have a -15/4, to which we're going to add 1. We need an LCD, which is 4. So -15, multiply this by 4, multiply that by 4, plus 4, it's going to be -11/4. So we bring it back in, and there is the second example of finding the equation. So this is in slope-intercept form. And you can see that it didn't matter which point I used, the equation worked out to be the same, 3/4 x minus 11/4, right? Both equations are exactly the same. So it doesn't matter which point you use for this. And so now you know how to use the point slope formula. You find the slope and use the point in that formula. Alright, in the next video we'll take a look at some more complex examples using the point slope formula.